Starting is the easy part. Starting your coaching business, that's the easy part. You can start as soon as today as you have the right fulfillment partner in place. The real question is, how are you going to protect your headspace? How are you going to stay safe? How are you going to feel secure? How are you going to feel not overwhelmed? How are you going to protect yourself from all the different definitions that are out here, all the different things that are out here that are already making you feel insecure? Because I can tell you right now, as a coach, you're already an expert. But the first and foremost principle, you have to take ownership of that thought first before your brain will begin to show you why you're already an expert. Like I said, starting is the easy part. Staying safe headspace-wise, that's the trick. That's why it's psychological. This is where your success is hiding. It's hiding here. There's a reason why the 1% are telling you this is how it works. But so many people come across wisdom and they treat it like it's insignificant.
A big part of my work today is I understand that 80% of success is psychology, 20% is the mechanics.
Right? It was painful for me. It was painful for me when I came across 7 seconds. If you haven't already heard, in the coaching space that I was in, coaching, consulting, they're one and the same as far as I'm concerned. There's a problem that the audience perceives, right? And then there's the solving of that problem. So that's how I keep it straight. But the real question is, how are you going to keep a definition? How are you going to keep safe, stay safe, feel strong? Because I had all these definitions of what coaching was, and I couldn't understand, why am I feeling so insecure about this? I didn't understand. Chapter 6. You got chapter 6 on how that big, beautiful brain of yours works. And why you got all these insecurities now, you don't even know where they came from. It's because your safe space, especially when it comes to coaching, your safe space is in your alone time with your crayons. That's the same space, your safe zone. Because the minute you step out into anyone's community, all of a sudden you're being infected with their doubts, fears, insecurities, and it's coming out in their language, it's coming out in their tone, and your brain is accepting it. This has already been biologically proven. All the smartest people on the planet who study the brain for a living. Chapter 6, do the homework. I did. Your coaching business, you are already the expert, but you have to take ownership of it up front. And then your brain will start showing you you're already a boss, right? So the real question, starting a coaching business is the easy part, especially if you're in the executive coaching space. Coaching, consulting, as far as I'm concerned, they're one and the same. Someone's got a problem, period. And how you stay safe, that's the only thing that matters. Everything else in the earth, that's just practice. The real question is this: what kind of coaching business have you bought into? What philosophy? What psychology? Because there's 6-figure models, and then there are billionaire models.
Model someone who is already getting the results that you want. If you want to accelerate the tempo of mastery, find somebody that's already getting the result and figure out how they do it and do the same thing. Success leaves what? Clues. If someone is successful, not once, not twice, but consistently in anything, they're not lucky, they have a strategy. They may not even know their strategy, but they have one. And if you study them, you can figure out what it is, and you can save yourself decades of trial and error learning. This is the number one secret for the things in my life that have worked, that I've mastered. It's like, why? Why would I try and figure all this out when I can find the best on earth? Why am I writing the book I'm writing right now?
The most prevalent coaching model being taught out here, it's a 6-figure model. I can tell you what, and that's the hard model, right? Anytime you're following a coaching model, a 6-figure model, you can't get to 9 figures from a 6-figure model. It's a 6-figure model. It's capped at six figures. You follow a 9-figure model, you can hit 6, 7, 8 on the way to 9. This is why it's easier. But the headspace is completely different. The focus is completely different, night and day. And this was the pain. I had to go through it until I came across my 7 seconds. And the creator was like, pause, Rick, right here. This is what you need to, and I had to listen to it over and over and over again. If you haven't heard me say it over and over and over again, why? Until it becomes a part of your language, a part of your identity. There's a reason why in coaching space, there's a reason why there's a 1%. They're thinking completely different than everyone around them. People who even think they're in their same headspace. For the most part, you will never hear me. It's like Steve Jobs found himself. Everyone around him was trying to develop the next flip phone. He was so vocal about what he was doing. They were all like, "What are you doing?" They dogged the brother, right? They're dogging him out. Why are you doing it? Why are you thinking it that way? Because he had a definition of coaching, consulting, whatever you want to call it. He was leaning on impact, and he was going after impact, and he was studying the psychology of the consumer, period. That was it, and that's where he focused his language.
And this is what the front of it looks like. Boom. That's iPod. I happen to have one right here in my pocket, matter of fact. There it is, right there. So, this amazing little device holds 1,000 songs, and it goes right in my pocket.
Tony talks about it a lot. If you study them, what they did, you can model the same thing. A problem is a problem is a problem. Understand your identity as a fixer. One of my favorite shows back in the day used to be called Scandal. Olivia Pope, bad to the bone. She was a fixer. You understand your identity as a coach. By definition, your brain is going to go look around for all these different definitions and try to find one. There's a limit on what you perceive it to be. Your coaching, starting the coaching business is the easy part. Find fulfillment partners who give you the psychological edge that you need to provide fulfillment. Think about scaling up front, not as the afterthought.
First million took 13 months, second million took 7 months immediately after. I was more about project and team management problems. The third million was significantly faster because it happened in a day. It was very fast. I got thrown and catapulted into business building admin style problems. You can scale processes. You can't scale something that doesn't have a process. So I got really, really heavy on my processes itself. That was really, really powerful to learn that. The fourth and fifth million has been really just more of the same activities that caused the third.
You know how many coaches, as far as I'm concerned, you were created to be a coach to all coaches, a consultant to all consultants. Why? Because when you take a different perspective, the 1% perspective, all of a sudden you can see where the problems are. You can see where the challenges are. And at least you know you don't find yourself dealing with broke mentality because you're thinking about scalability up front. Most coaches out here, coaches, consultants, they don't have a way to scale. They're not thinking about scaling until it becomes a problem. They're not thinking about it up front. What does that mean? It's kind of like, do you remember when all the stores started implementing self-service checkouts? All of a sudden, going through the teller line, well, that value just got elevated. You can check out on your own. Most coaches don't have a self-service checkout. If you're thinking about scalable processes up front, you put one of those in place, all of a sudden, whoa, your time just got elevated. You just found a way of increasing the value of your personal time. Because now you come across whoever it is that you serve, they're trying to grow something, unless you're in the physical coaching space. But most people are trying to grow a business. They're trying to grow some kind of side hustle, which means they need a process. They need help with growing whatever it is they're growing. But the way you stay safe is you think about the process. All the processes, they're all the same. Industries don't matter. Once you nail down the process of all businesses, it's all the same. I'll go deeper in that in another video, but as far as starting a coaching business, it's never been easier than it is right now. In fact, it's one of the best ways that you can get over your doubts, fears, insecurities, your worries, because at the end of the day, there's someone waiting for you. Someone's standing over here in the corner of life waiting for you to get past your doubts, fears, worries, and get your courage up and start serving them. Period. Here's the question. Your coaching model, you're either going to have a one-to-one coaching model or you're going to have a one-to-many coaching model. If you have a one-to-many coaching model, well, now you're going to need a system that can scale with you, right? Starting a coaching business is one of the best ways, as long as you have it lined up here, as long as you have it framed. The worlds were framed by the word. But as long as you have the right frame, as long as it's part of a personal development plan, there's never been a better way, better time than right now, because there's so many people that need help right now. It's amazing the wealth that's up for grabs right now. Your starting a coaching, you do it. You set it up the right way, where you are secure, where you're protecting your safe space, where protecting, feeling good about you. That's the priority. That the coaching business, that's fulfillment. Your headspace comes first. Your confidence, your self-confidence comes first. Your courage comes first. But you have to position that coaching business in such a way in your mind where it's providing fulfillment to your personal development. It's psychological. That's why Tony says it's a psychological game. Because as long as if you don't line it up in your mind the right way, you'll become a victim, period. That's just how the mind works, period. But there's never been a better time to start a coaching business, especially if you're coaching other entrepreneurs who are trying to grow their business. Because like I said, at the end of the day, everyone's trying to grow something. They're trying to grow a business, a network, nonprofit they're trying to grow something. But where they are unclear, what they are unclear on is the process of growing any business. It's all the same. There's an audience that you grow. There's the connection with that audience. There's the offering to that audience. And then there's the follow-up of that audience without having to go on. And most people, that's the process of all processes. Most people have a gazillion different systems to try to piece that all together. There are breakthroughs going on right now in other industries who have already solved all of that. It's 2023. AI is just like solving all kinds of issues, but how you think about what's going on right now, you have to learn how to think differently than everyone else who's even in the coaching space. I don't even like to give you the word coaching. Why? Because if I come across you and the minute I give you a word you think you already understand, boom, you just slapped your label on me. And you did it automatically because you have a definition of coaching and you assume that I share the same model that you do. That's the biggest problem. This is why it's psychological. Follow what I'm saying? It's all psychological, but starting a coaching business, it's never been easy. Just get yourself a fulfillment partner, someone who takes all the time, someone who helps you elevate your time, your personal time, someone who, or an entity, a fulfillment partner that saves you time, money, pain, and allows you to scale. I'm talking about, when I say scale, I'm talking about, let's say you're trying to coach 100,000 people. Well, obviously you can't do that with your personal time. You have the right system in place. You understand the principles of scaling. It's just a matter of putting the system in. The tech is the easy part. Don't get caught up. The tech is the easy part. Starting a consulting business a coaching business is easier than you think it is. It's easier than a lot of people out here make it out to be. It doesn't have to be as hard as most of these people out here make it out to be. It really doesn't. That brain of yours, just remember this, that all-powerful mind of yours likes to make things more complicated than it really needs to be. And people will make things more complicated than it really needs to be. When you slow down, take a step back, get your crayons out, and you'll find out real quick. You can start dominating your space starting today if you really want to. But in any event, if this helps, hit me up. Let me know. I'll make sure you have what you need. Because at the end of the day, I got brothers and sisters standing on the corner of life, waiting on you to get your courage up. And that's who I represent. The circle of life. Mufasa, remember that? Here's the circle of life, and I'm going to end it with this. They're standing on the corner. There's an audience out here waiting for you to get your courage up, period. They're praying to the Creator. Creator drops it on me. Rick, I need you to pray for my kids over here. And I need you to pray. And then he has me pray for you. And I'm praying, Lord, give this person courage, wisdom, revelation, insight so that they can serve your people. This is the circle of life. This is how it works. I'm praying for them. I'm praying for you. I'm just letting you know where I'm coming from. If you can't jive with this, cool. Peace, deuces, out. But this is how the circle of life works, right? And so someone's standing on the corner waiting for you to get your courage up. And I'm here to tell you, you're here to be a coach to all coaches. Don't get it twisted. That big, beautiful brain of yours is all powerful. But you, first and foremost, you have to take ownership of that idea. Boom, and then you're off to the races. Now, and what you're going to find out is that it's a lot easier than you think it is. Because the creator's not going to let me or anyone else on the planet give you something more powerful, more valuable than what he's already given you. But you have to take ownership of that headspace. That's how it works. Thank you for the privilege of being able to serve you. This moment is priceless because it's my privilege to serve you. Peace.